Hey everybody, I'm here. Hi Naomi. Hi Pam. Hi Anna. Let's see who all's in here. Hi guys. Hi. All right, we got Tom. We got RD. We got Esther. Anna. Jeremy. Naomi. We're gonna give it a couple of more minutes and let's get everybody in here. How's everybody doing today? Hi Wormy. Hi Kathy. Hello Anna. I'm gonna try to make this class run smooth, but my mics didn't charge. So if they go out, I have to switch them, okay? So bear with me. I'm going to charge the other one. Get it going. Yeah, there we go. We'll have it charged while this one's being used. All right, 2 magnets. Get up there. You wasn't able to do the challenge. Hi, Carmen. Awesome. All right, let me catch up here. I was chasing a magnet over here. I'm easily distracted these days. All right, let's see. Hi, Pam. I'm trying to play catch up here. My brain has got to catch up with the rest of y'all. Y'all way ahead of me today. All right, Kathy wasn't able to do the challenge. Is there anything I can help you with on that, Kathy? If you can't do it now, you will be able to before it's over with. Carmen is the star student this week. Did you all check out her dimpled heart? She did awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I'll get you going, Kathy. Hi, Karen. Melinda. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Karen. Welcome to the classes. Well, we got a good group going here. Now, all my subscribers that aren't in the chat, say hello if you can. If you can't, leave a comment below. Let me know that you've come to class and going to learn some stuff with us. Didn't miss much. I was lost. You got some to post? Hi, Donna. Welcome. Everybody ready to learn to tat today? Today we're going to learn the very, very bare bones basics of beginning tatting to get y'all going the right direction. Oh, reminds me. Yeah, I told you, y'all are thinking faster than I am today. I've been up since 4 this morning. Every night before class, I know you all probably do this too. And I did this when I worked. What did I forget? Hi, Jax. Did I get that? Did I get this? Did I do that? Did I do this? So all that stuff runs through my brain the night before class. It couldn't do it last week. It couldn't do it Monday. No, it had to do it last night. So every time I turn around, hi, Maria. I want to say thank you for your donation. I do appreciate it very, very much. It will go a long way. But yeah, I was at 4 o'clock this morning and I was like, Okay, did I get that? Did I get that? Did I do that? What else? What am I forgetting? How many of y'all do that? I go out the house and Dennis has to sit in the truck for 5 minutes with me while I go through my list. Did I get? Did I get? Did I get? Did I get? So, well, you come to the right place. Well, that's at 3 o'clock, Anna. That starts at 3. Yeah, at 3 o'clock we have to limit the questions because I don't want to be thrown off of my Bible here. See, this is everything I prepare for class. That's why I was up to at 4 o'clock this morning, trying to remember all this. I tell you, it. I got a lot going on right now. I got another doctor bill. I haven't been to the doctor's in a month, and I got another doctor bill and more blood work bills, and I'm like, huh? Where'd they come from? Back in July. Blew my mind. They charged me for a room at the hospital that all they did was stick a needle in my arm and draw blood. And then, okay, they ain't gonna miss much. But they did that and a urine test. And I get charged for a room. That wasn't in no room. I walked in the door. They took my name, said go around the corner and walk into the lab. I sat in a chair and I was back there maybe 10 minutes. And I got charged for a full hospital room. I'm like, what? I got a super high deductible. There's no way I ever meet my deductible. But if I have to go get much more blood work, I'll meet it in about a month. I'm just saying. I never seen anything like it. I called the insurance company, and they said that it looks like that they think I'm on Medicare. And I said, most people my age are on Medicare, but I am not. I'm self-pay. And it's like, oh, well, why are they duplicating blood work? Good question. Every month I'm supposed to have this blood work done. I don't think so. So I canceled a bunch of appointments today. Oh, Karen, I don't even worry about a list anymore. I don't. So, all right, I want to go over some things. How many of y'all had trouble with that dimpled ring? I got a couple of students that said they had an issue with it. Now I'm going to go over it with it in here if you guys need me to. I was going to do it for Carmen. She didn't quite understand what I was doing on video, and I said, I'll do it slower and we'll rewalk it. And then she got it. I mean, and it's super fantastic. But if anybody else is having problems with that, I will not hesitate to walk you through it again. Don't have a problem. I got thread. See, I got thread. I've always got thread. I just saying I got threads. So if you need me to walk you through it, I got some thread. And I can. You'd like to see it again? All right, Jax. I shall do that for you. See, then I don't waste that thread, do I? Let me get everything moved over out of the way and close up my keyboard here. I got one of them folding keyboards because I have a small room and it doesn't fit just anywhere. Like right now, it doesn't fit anywhere. I just got to poke it somewhere. I got a small desk too. Yeah, see, I don't qualify for Medicaid, and because my husband makes too much money, and I can't take Medicare because he's got insurance. He still works. He's got another 5 years before he retires. So, I'm just that's all there is to it. I'm one of those people that got lost in the cracks. All right, let me switch my camera down into the desktop. Now, let me know, guys, if you missed something while I am on camera and we end up with a commercial. I'm going to move the camera around because we got to zoom things around, set it all up. It never keeps its settings for some reason. I don't know why. It has a headache. And why is this thing backwards? I got to figure that out. This is my right hand and this is my left hand. Weird. This is weird. But I'll tell you what happened. I got up yesterday morning, and what didn't change the other day changed up yesterday morning. All right. Now, you haven't had time to try daily doctor visits. You don't want to. You really don't. All right. We are going to do this. Let me zoom in just a hair. See, y'all can see. I'm using size 10 thread. Now, when I do the class today, I'm going to show you in size 3 so you can really get a good look at things. Now, what you're going to do is we are going to do 6 double stitches. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to drop our shuttle, open our ring, let it do its dance. That's hypnotic to my dog. If y'all got dogs that want to play with thread and shuttles, let that dance go happen and it'll tranquilize them. All right, that's what. Okay, I don't understand the SS. Switch shuttles is SS. So what do you say? All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I tighten up my thread. Now we're going to put in a very small picot. Trying to stay in screenshot here. Wrong color of thread for this desktop. And we're going to put in, we're going to do 3 double stitch. I like to do odd numbers because that way the cleft that drops down is the odd number and your stitches will lay side by side better. Okay, I don't like that. And we're going to put 2 more in, make it 5. That way y'all can really see. Okay, now what we're going to do, I'm going to get my moo here, and we're going to go over, let me open it up some. We're going to go over here into that picot. Go down into that picot, grab that thread, pull it up. Okay, put it on your finger. Now, you want to come up from the bottom through there. That way everything lays as it should. Now I want you to look how that thread is laying on top of your stitches here on this side. It sort of wraps around it. What you want to do at this point, hold that picot up there. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm out of shot. You want to hold that picot up there with your nail or finger, whatever, and play with them stitches. Line it up. It takes time. Once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to pop these things in. No, nothing flat, let me tell you. You just keep pulling that thread over until your stitches lay side by side and your middle stitch is down here. And if you run an even number, it will lay them right beside each other, okay? And at a point, so at the point, it's going to curl. If you don't want the curl, use an odd number for your dimple, all right? And that will create your cleft. Then put in your last 6 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If I can get the shuttle, quit grabbing the thread going through. You can tell this one's about shot. Let's shuttle here. Now, you're going to pull both sides of that ring into your pinch. And then you're going to start closing. Keep that pinch tight so that your thread does not twist, because it's got a lot of going through to do. And then you have to fiddle to get your heart to look like a heart. But you have to fiddle with all your tatting. You'll learn that as a beginner. You don't know that yet. So I'm going to give you a little advice. Play with your tatting. Adjust and look at it and say, well, I like it to do this. And I'll take my tatting and I'll lay it on the table, and I'll take my pick or my crochet hook and place everything where I want it to go. You can do it when you block it, but I am going to tell you a little trick about blocking. How many of y'all got a family Bible at home? Now, this is what Harold does. Me, I just got any old book I can grab my hands on. If you got a heavy book, open it up, throw your tatted piece in there, close the book. Let it sit there 24 hours. That's all you got to do, 24 hours. When you open the Bible, it's pressed. You don't have to block. You don't have to do any of that. That will make your snowflakes stand up like they're supposed to. So that's just a word of advice. All right. Now, let's see here. What do we got? Christina, you're having a problem with me freezing. Okay. That may be on your end for receiving. I'm running StreamYard and satellite with Starlink. I'm getting 250 megs through here. And some internet providers, yeah, they sort of throttle it back because we're just blowing the doors off of them. I'm sorry that that happens. I'm not upside down. Okay. I'll trust you guys, but on my screen, I'm looking at a person that's backwards. That's okay. Yeah, it's because we're pumping some juice out today. Lo and behold, of all days, we're really hitting the top numbers. I don't know why either. We don't usually do that. Okay. All right. So we've caught back up on the questions. I sorry. I sorry. I sorry. I sorry. I can't help it. I mean, hopefully it'll level out, but I don't know what it's going to do. Now, let me get all my goodies back over here. All right. I want to show you guys some stuff. Now, for all you new people, all right, I'm going to show you some things that you need to know. If you're going to be a shuttle tatter, be a shuttle tatter. If you're going to be a shuttle tatter, learn to needle tat. Why? My frequent students can answer this. You newbies can't. The reason is there are techniques that we do that on shuttle, it's difficult to achieve the look you want, and it looks better on needle. Okay? Then there are needle techniques that look better on shuttle. However, there are techniques that use both. Okay? My advanced students know what I'm talking about. There's some techniques that you use part of the needle, part of the shuttle. Okay? And there's not that many. Okay? But there are some. However, if you discover another way to do a technique that is easier for you, and what I mean by discover is you work through a technique and you say, wait a minute, I like this better this way. There's nothing wrong with that. I want you to experience and experiment. Okay, I see. You can't see me? Y'all see me? Is everybody seeing me, or am I gone? Okay, so I'm here. All right, that's what you need to say. All right, awesome. Okay, now I'm going to show you the basics for both tools today. Okay, and what I'm going to do is walk you through from the very get-go. So some of you that are more experienced, you're going to say, I know this already. That's okay. We do have some new students in here that just started. A couple of them have just gotten their shuttles for the first time. So they need to know from the get-go how to do what they need to do. Elizabeth, are you in here? I didn't even see you come in. Awesome. Glad you made it. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is, and this is a lifesaver, okay? You will understand it once you get to tatting, okay? This is what we call a helper loop on our shuttle. And we use this helper loop to thread our shuttle. The reason we want this helper loop is so that when we get down to the bare bones of our thread, because tatting thread does cost, you want enough room to use as much of the tail of that thread so you don't have to add new thread in the middle of the last chain. So this helper loop will help you not have to do that. Now, everybody has their own way. There are people that will do a slip knot, run it through the hole, and pull it through and all that jazz. Or you can just run it through the whole tie knot and call it a day. And many different ways. There is no set way in stone to do this. It's what makes you happy. Okay? If it is something that's set in stone, I will let you know. Okay? Things that are not set in stone, you can play till the cows come home and do what makes you happy, what's comfortable to you. So with me, I just thread the thread through the little hole in the shuttle, and every shuttle has them. You get a shuttle that doesn't have the hole. Let me see if I've got one here. Thought I did. I thought I did. Oh, Lord. Yes, I got a ton of shuttles. Would y'all like to see shuttles that Georgia gave me? I can do that real quick. We got a minute. These are shuttles that her husband, Richard, made. This is one of them. This one here is another one. And this Georgia put on. And then, I don't use these. This one's made out of a lilac bush. And you can see the purple in it from the lilac. And this is a tiny shuttle that Georgia gave to me that he made. And this one doesn't have a hole in it. See? This one here doesn't have a hole in it. So you'll run into shuttles that don't have a hole. If they don't have a hole, what I do is I tie a slip knot, put the slip knot over the shuttle, wrap the thread around, and then just pull the tail through and then tighten it down. It's just, you figure things out. You do what you need to do. Now, let's see what we've got here. I have others. I know I do. I just cannot find them. If you run across the flat shuttle, those are great for tatting, Celtic tatting. They work great because they fit in tight spaces. Here's another flat shuttle. You can make flat shuttles. You make them out of cardboard. You make them out of plastic. You can make them out of just about anything you want to make them out of. But again, you use what you have. Okay? Karen, she just finger tats at the end. I do too. But there are people that they don't have the dexterity that they need to finger tat at the end. And beginners, you're going to learn finger tatting. All right. So back to doing our thread. You see, I've got it in my hole. It's swaying back and forth. At this point, I pull one side or the other over. Take it, tie a knot in it. Pull that knot down and tie the second half of a knot. And pull it down. Now, I get my scissors, my scissors, and I go snip, snip, and make sure you snip, snip the right one and cut the tail off so it's not in your way. All right. Now, that said, that thread's still going to move back and forth on that shuttle, and that's fine. If it don't move on the shuttle, you got problems. Okay, you don't want those problems. I'm just saying. Now, there are two ways you can work this wrapping the shuttle, and that's what it's called. Your shuttle, if it's got a pick and you're right-handed, you want the pick away from you. Why is that? So when you're tatting, your thread is coming out this side. Your pick's facing away. Your thread, when you're tatting, is going to come out that side, just like that. You always want your thread to come towards your work. If you're left-handed, okay, your thread will come out this side. See? Because your work is going to be on this side. Right-handed, that side. And it always comes out the tail. Now, say you get caught and you say, oh, I didn't wrap it the right way, and it's coming out this way. The only thing that it's going to do, if you're a jewelry wearer, it's going to catch every ring on your finger. Okay? If you've got long nails, they're going to get in your way. Be prepared for a challenge. I'm just saying. So with that said, I want my thread to come out this side. Now, you can do the windmill method, and that's just hold the shuttle and wrap it like this. Or you can walk it on. Okay? Now, the difference between walking it on and the windmill is the windmill gives you a whole lot of twists you don't need. Walking it on takes the twist out. That's the excess twist. Okay? And you just walk it on until your shuttle gets full. Okay? So that is how you thread a shuttle. Now, a needle. This is the fun part. We're going to thread this needle. Where are my... First of all, you get tatting needles. And this is what they look like. Okay? They come in various sizes. Okay? See them? They're different. Every one of them is different. These are DMC tatting needles. If you find a set of these, grab them. Okay? They're hard to find. They're very rare. Amazon used to carry them. They don't carry them anymore. But they come from Clover, Japan. Okay? Now, where is... Let me get my picot gauge so I can show you how to measure the needles. Yeah. Okay. Handy hands. I know y'all have heard of handy hands. They made this tatting gauge. It's a picot gauge. Now I'm going to show you something. we've got several needles here. All right, so we're going to go with this smallest one. It's stuck to the next size. It's because it's so small. This needle here looks to be a 7. Yeah, that is a size 7. You can barely see it on the screen. Okay, a size 7 is used for a size 40 and a size 80 thread. You can squeeze a 20 in there, but it's going to tear your thread to bits. There's not going to be any thread left because see that hole? Y'all see that hole? Yeah, you're not supposed to use doll needles. The heads are, well, the eyes, excuse me. The eyes are not even with the shaft of the needle. So therefore, as the needle is passing through your tatting, you're already stretching it with the thread to go through. Now you've got to add more metal. And that is what creates the look no one likes and determines that, guess what? You got loosey-goosey tatting. And every shuttle tatter can tell needle tatting right off the bat for that. So try not to use doll needles. It's okay to practice till you get your real toys, okay? But you want shafts of the needle to where when you close your eyes and run your hand down that needle, you don't feel the eye. It's not there, okay? Tatting needles should not be sharp enough to cut you either, okay? So be careful when using needles, especially these this long. I mean, Havels, they got a sharp point on them. You can use them for darts, pin cushions, stab it in a pin cushion. You can probably use it on a bulletin board. I'm just saying. All right, now the next size, this is the 7. This is the next one in line. This is the 5. I do believe, isn't it? Nope, that's a 7 as well. There you go. It's another 7. This is the handy hand 7. I knew that. I lost that a long time ago. Now I know where I put it. But as you can see, same deal with that eye. It's very small. Again, 40 and 80 is what goes in a 7. Okay. Now let's move on to this one. This one is the 5. This is the 5. Yeah, that's my 5. Now this one, the eye doesn't want to go through. This is the handy hands 5. The eye doesn't want to go through. Handy hands 5 is a little burr. You see it? It's got a curvature to it. That's a 5 in handy hands. This is the 5 in DMC. Goes through. Now, the only difference between the two, if you look at them side by side, is the handy hands eye is bowed out a little more than the DMC. Okay, the shaft is the same size. This is used for size 10 and size 20. Okay, if you use size 5 with a size 10, it's a little loose, but not too bad. With the size 20, it makes your tatting look like it's shuttle tatted. A shuttle tatter has to look at the back of the tatting to find out if it is needle or shuttle. If you use a 5 with a 20. Okay, it tightens it up that much. Okay, so that said, I'm going to show you how to thread this. Get that one if I can find. I've got all kinds of little pockets and drawers and stuff in front of me. And of course, my little tools. Where did I put? I know where I put them. Jeez. I cleaned my desk off. I shouldn't have done that. I could find things before I cleaned it. Y'all do that? Clean up something and then you can't find nothing? There it is. All right, gum floss threaders. I'm going to sit this down here somewhere. Get it out of the way. Gum floss threaders. I know y'all seen these. Any of y'all got kids that had braces? They had to use this to clean the food and stuff out of their braces. That's what this is. They are the best thing since sliced cheese to thread a needle with. Okay. Now, the Handy Hands needle threader you get, I got news for you. It's not going to last the first time you use it. It comes apart. The metal one. Now, the one that's looks like a seam ripper or something, that one I haven't tried, but I have heard that it's a little bit more sturdy. Okay. Now, I've threaded my thread onto the floss threader and pulled. And guess what? My needle is threaded. How cool is that, folks? And that was a floss threader. So you don't need the fancy threaders. All right. These are like $5.49. They're on the Amazon shop underneath the video. Now, we're going to do this one first because this is the easiest. First thing you do, you have a tail. We want to start with about a 6 to 8 inch tail because all we're doing is practicing making a chain. Commercial break. All right, I'll slow down. I get some water, so maybe I won't be so hoarse this time. I don't know what caused it. I got me some cough drops. Is it done? They're supposed to be running short ones during this. Now, I did find out they said some of the longer commercials you can skip through. So if you can skip, go ahead and skip. That's okay. All right. All right. Now, we've got about 6 inches of tail. Say that 3 times in a row. All right. Now what you're going to do, you got the other half in your hand. This is on the needle. You're going to take the thread, put it in your hand like that. Take this finger, stick it out there, and roll it around. Once you roll it around, take the needle up through it and pull it down. When you pull that down, you want to keep this loop around your hand from the eye of the needle. Don't let this loop get away from you because whatever you do, you pull it off, it's not going to hang around. It's going to disappear. So keep that there. Now the other half of that, put our hand right there, put our finger out like we're shooting a little, I would say the word, but they'll evict me off of YouTube if I do. Take it and roll it backwards and come up the back of the finger and pull it down. And you have your first double stitch. Double stitch is the 2 pair of pant legs and a waistband. Y'all see that? See that? Isn't it pretty? We're wearing a pair of pants on our needle. All right, we're going to do 5 of those. That's 2. And as I progress on, you'll see I move a little faster. I can needle tat. I don't do it all the time, so it's not as pretty as my shuttle tatting, but I can teach it just about anything there is in needle tatting. All right, we got 5 double stitches. We're going to put a picot. The way you make a picot is you put in the first half, leave a gap, second half, and slide it over. There, right there is where needle tatting is so easy. So easy. Okay? Because you don't have to mess with the picot gauge. Now you're going to put in 4 more. That's 3, 4, and 5. Okay? Once you do that, watch what I'm going to do. We're going to pull it off the needle. You see how I've got my hand in this loop? See, there's our tail. You hold on to that. Don't let go of it. You don't want to let go of it because the minute you do, you're going to have a problem. Now you want to find the side that's the tail, and if you watch, you'll see that tail disappear. The tail's gone. Now, you can take your fingers out. Don't let that tail disappear off that hook, off that needle. Take it down, and you want to come up through the bottom, right there, and come up. May ought to leave a little bit more than what I did. It's been a while. Pull it down until you get it to close. Okay? And you're closing your ring. Now, what I do is wrap it around my hands. Okay? Come back around to tie my knot, my half knot. And as I'm flipping it over, I am putting that half knot down where it belongs. Okay? And that is a ring on a needle. Okay? We'll get more in depth with needle tatting. All right, not today. Today we're doing shuttle tatting. So I've got needle tatters well on their way for needle tatting because that is the basics of needle tatting. What I just did right there. Okay? You have picots, you've got rings, you've got chains. When you're doing chains, the difference is you don't have to run it through the loop. When you run it through the loop, that's when you're creating a ring. All right, when you're doing a chain, you just pull it on through. But we're going shuttle tatting. I want you to see the difference between shuttle tatting and needle tatting. Okay, yeah, that's the front. I'm going to show you real quick about the front and the back. The front of your tatting has caps on that picot on both sides. The back of your tatting has no caps on the picot. And if you watch your tatting, you will see the caps. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put some thread on a shuttle. I've got these big shuttles here. These were made for me years ago. And they're made this size for threads like this. Okay? There we go. What I do, because it is the bigger thread, I don't worry about flipping the knot. But today, I'm going to show you how to do that. You don't want that thread to come loose. Take your, after you feed it through, did y'all see how I did that? Did y'all see how I did that? Let me try that again. Let me show it again. I got time if y'all got time. Take your thread that's going to your ball, loop it, run this loop down through that, come up through there, that loop, pull it down onto your thread. It's attached. And then just take these two threads and separate them. Now, other people can do it fast jig time. They got little tricks. Every tatter's got tricks. But this is what you do, is you pull it apart, okay, till it snaps. When it snaps, it's ready. Then you start walking your thread on your shuttle, okay? And you just keep going. Now, I know I've got that long tail there. That's perfectly fine. It's going to disappear very shortly, okay? Now, I'm going to show you on this because today we are doing rings and chains. So I'm only going to put enough on here for a ring and a chain. And the chain will be in two different colors. We're doing two different colors. The chain will join at the end of this. So now we have our thread wrapped on our shuttle for our ring. Now, pull off just a little bit, and we snipperoo. Right there. That snipperoo didn't snipperoo. Now we're going to grab our other color. Now you want two colors. This is so you can see the thread flip. You need to get that flip. So what we do is we just tie an average every day, not in our thread, okay? We're playing. All we are doing is playing. Let's pull it down. And you want to leave enough so you've got room to hold that thread out of your way. Okay? This blue thread is going to be our shuttle thread, or you will hear us say shuttle 1. This is shuttle 1. Shuttle 1 is the one that does all the work back and forth. Shuttle 2 is either a ball thread or an actual shuttle. And you'll see why later in the learning process for 2 shuttles. Not too much later, but later. So the first thing we do, wrap our hand in a loom for a ring. You take it around your fingers like this. Okay, now I'm going to pull enough thread off of here so y'all can see this loom. You see I've got my tail sitting here. Got my yellow thread coming back here. The blue thread, I went around, all the way around and came back, and I brought it into the pinch. You will hear that word frequently, the pinch. The pinch is where you hold your tatting until you're ready to finish the element. The element is a clover, a ring, a chain, a square. That's your element. It's whatever item you're working on. That's the element. Okay? So, once you do your loom, I got to check. You're welcome, Wormy. Okay. Add. Okay, we're back. All right. Once you get your loom, the first thing you want to do, shuttle 1, lay it in your hand and roll. Everybody get that? Lay it in your hand and roll. Now, for those of you that don't have the dexterity like that, you can just take your fingers and do it. You don't have to really rotate the hand. See? Like that. Everybody got that? You want that thread over your fingers. You got to have it over the fingers. Give me a thumbs up if you got that. If it makes sense. Waiting. Are we in a commercial? Did I miss something? I don't like this not knowing. Carmen got it. All right. Once you get that set, you go under, see, under and over your loom thread and pull it through. As you're pulling it through, loosen that hand up. Pull this tight. You'll see the thread flip. And then pull it down to your knot. All the way. Put it in the pinch. The second half is over, under, and through that bottom loop. As you're pulling it this way, loosen that hand. Pull this tight. Pull it on up. Now, that is traditional tatting. Okay? There's another way. There's some of you that have had carpal tunnel surgery. You have arthur in the hands. It's really a pain. I mean, when I say pain, I mean pain. There is the Riego method. Okay? The Riego method goes over the finger. See, it's not even coming across my hand. And your shuttle goes up through between those two. Once you pull it through, you let the finger go, pull it tight, your threads flip, pull it down. The second half of that is turn your hand just a little bit and run it up the back, let it go, pull it down, flip it in. Y'all got that? Want to do it again? Karen, this might work for you on shuttle tatting. All right, again, up through here, pull it out, move your finger and pull it down. It's a rhythm. Up through the back, pull it out and pull it down. So you see the two ways that you can do it. Now, this is not the only two ways. There are people that, I'll tell you, Mary Lee Rockley, she does it a strange way, but it's neat. She moves her tatting down there like that. I can't do that. Okay. I can't do it. I'm not coordinated to do it. Mary Lee's very coordinated. Let me tell you, people. But she walks her stitches down and puts them into place. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Then we have some that do it as if they're sewing. Their hand movement is like they're sewing with a needle. And I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the thing is, it doesn't matter how you make your stitches, as long as you make them right. And as long as it works for you. Now, there are tatters that will combine methods, traditional with Riego, traditional with this, or traditional with that, or Riego with this, you know. It is all what works for you. There's no law against it. There is no technique that is copywritten. So anybody that tells that technique has been copywritten, they are wrong. They cannot copyright a technique. It's against the law. If that be the case, none of you would be knitters. Only one person in the world would be a knitter, and that's the person that decided that this is a purl and that's a knit or not, or whatever it is. I don't knit. Can you tell? If you're a crocheter, the only crocheter in the world would be the one that developed the single crochet. You see why it's not allowed to be copywritten? It stops people from making things. It stops creativity. And anytime anything stops creativity, that's a problem. We wouldn't have cars. We wouldn't have planes. It would affect everything. That is why the technique to do it cannot be copywritten. The actual work results from those techniques can be. All right, keep that thought in your mind, because you'll have some tatters that, oh, I created that and you can't use it. I'll tell them to, pick up a Kleenex and blow their nose and talk to me. All right. So with that said, we're going to do one more double stitch. Put it there. And I'm going to have flying shuttles because these are way big. And this is Elizabeth size 3 tatting thread, which makes even harder. Because folks, I work with size 40 thread. You pick up big thread, it's like picking up a rope. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, now we put in a picot here, just because it looks good. And we're going to put in 4 more double stitches if we can get the shuttle cooperate. I was, one of the videos I made, I kept dropping my shuttle. I said, well, today I'm going to have flying shuttles. And somebody wrote me and asked me where they could get flying shuttles. So yeah, always a jokester somewhere. All right, we got 5 double stitches here. They're lined up, locked in, and ready to go. Now, we're going to close this ring, but first we want to move all these other tails and stuff out of our way. We're going to pull the front end and the back end of that ring into the pinch, and we're going to pull. You're going to watch it close up. Now, I didn't post the shuttle. You'll learn posting next. Right now, we just got to get that flip down. Okay? And that is our ring. The next thing we want to do is we're going to reverse our work. When we reverse our work, the top becomes the bottom becomes the top. Remember that. Okay? And then we're going to start our chain. To do the loom for the chain, you take it across that finger, you wrap it around that finger, and you wrap it around the pinky. Your tension is held right here. It's not in here. This is your tension. If you don't keep this tight, your stitches are not going to be pretty. So you keep that part tight. Choke up on your shuttle. And you'll hear me say that a lot. I'm the only one that says choke up on the shuttle that I know of. But that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, I know they're boats. These are the ones that Veronica made for me years ago to teach with. Look how big these things. Do you know these will hold a whole entire ball of size 10 thread? I'm just saying. All right, now the second half of this is our chain. So we're going to go under, over, and pull it down and tighten it up. Over, under, tighten it up. Under, over, tighten it up. Over, under, tighten it up. And you keep doing that until you have 5 double stitches. This is traditional tatting. Next week, I will show you front side, back side, and front side tatting. So be ready because those two are fun. All right. I got looks like a picot in there, but Elizabeth thread does that. It had a slub. Sometimes you get slubs in the thread. It's like there's a whole clump of thread right there. When it's just practice pieces, I just work right with it. I don't throw it away. Barb will take it back if it's got slubs. If you buy any thread, she will take it back and replace it. She's good about that. She knows that sometimes you get a bad ball of thread. So let's finish this up. We did 5 picot and we're going to do 5 more and we're on our last one. And we got the flying shuttle. It's back. Should we call this the what was the one that the last one that just went up? The shuttle with people in it. I don't even know the name of it. We'll name it that. Okay, now let me show you something. If you look at this, this is a good way to see the difference between the front and the back. Right here, you've got your pants. There's your waistband. This is your picot. Got your waistband. And your 2 pair of pants has got 2 legs to it. Over here, you have no waistband and no legs. So you don't have a pair of pants on the back. You see the difference? This is where you can tell the difference. Okay? So, with that said, your homework tonight is do me a sample. Okay? I want you to do a sample. Now, there's patterns with the paperwork from today for you to play with. Okay? But I want you to read through all of this, the goals and everything for lesson 1. There are video demonstrations for everything that I have showed you. Okay? So if you are a visual learner, please watch those videos. It will help you so much. Okay? And all of this is on video. Now, if you are a left-handed tatter, I have the link that is for left-handed tatters. Okay, it's in here. Let's see if I can find it. It's on your website, but I print off everything so I can show it here because I find that if I go to the website, for some reason it double talks. Okay, here we go. left-handed tatters. This was written up by, what's her name? I can't remember it now. If my life saved me. All right. Let's see. It was on there. I've got it on the website. It's under resources. Go read the instructions for left-handed tatters. I'm not left-handed. I have a difficult time holding a pencil in my left hand. Left-handed tatting just doesn't work with my brain. I have tried. I will say that. But it's difficult. All right. So, with that said, you've also got in here, this is a demonstration Myers put together, I believe it was for Jennifer Williams. And she shared this with the classes many, many moons ago. And it's visual pictures. My problem is I can't tell you how this goes on a hand in this form. I have to see it in 3D. My mind works in 3D. Why? I don't know. So this is right here, the 3 terms that is most common in tatting. Reverse work, which I showed you before when we did this. Remember, top becomes bottom, bottom becomes top. Now, the next one is to turn your work. Turning your work is like the page of a book. You turn it from left to right, like this. If you're left-handed, it goes left or right to left. Okay? Everything is opposite on the left hand. Now, rotating your work. You rotate your work 1/4 turn. Unless the pattern says a 1/6 of a turn or something, you know, they come up with some oddball number. It's 1/4 of a turn. It's supposed to be standard throughout, but you have some tatters out there that insist on making a name for themselves. And they will throw you a curveball. But if you stick with the rule of thumb of 1/4 turn, you'll be okay. All right. And as you gain experience, you will know when you turn it, how far you've got to turn it to get what you need. Okay. Now, your line of progression. This is very important. When working patterns, every once in a while, you'll run into a left-handed tatter that wrote a pattern. Nina Libin is one that is left-handed. And her patterns flow from the right to the left. Okay? Most tatters are right-handed, so their line of progression is left to right. The sad part is a left-handed tatter won't tell you it's written by a left-handed tatter, and you go to make a join, and the join you need to make is over here, but you're over here. And you got to do some fancy footwork to join over here. So the deal is, read through your pattern. Work it out in your, use your hands. Work it. Yeah, Gloria Nelson. She is a left-handed tatter. But what you can do, and this will work every time. Here's what I do. I get a pattern and I take my shuttles. Okay, she says to do this. I do this. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm going to join. It's coming in here, but I've got it over here. Uh-oh. I do an imaginary tat to start. If I haven't figured it out, then I'll tat to the first join and see how it works. Because if it's a left-handed tatter, your joins are not going to match at all. They're not going to match. Iris Nebot, her patterns are left-handed. I was going to do a tat-along. It was a requested tat-along on a pair of earrings of hers. And I couldn't figure it out. My join was over here, but I was supposed to join over here according to the pattern. My pattern wasn't working the same as hers, according to her diagrams. She's left-handed. This was when I was new. Okay, I was green as grass. These are mistakes I made and things I've learned. And then I'd bring it up to Georgia, and she said, "You see, you got it. You understood it enough to know that's what happens." And I'm telling you, you'll know that's what happens. So lefties and righties are different, even in tatting. Okay, so make sure you read through your patterns once to understand it, twice to make sure you got everything, and a third time for trial and error before you pick up your shuttles, before you pick up your needle. Last thing you want to do is tat a snowflake and you're almost done. And whoopsie, it will make you cry. Trust me, this I know. Don't ask how. I will not discuss how. All right. This here is reading and writing patterns. Okay. Read through this. Understand it. If you have questions, don't hesitate to send them in. I will answer them. Okay. I'm checking email all the time. It pops up on my phone and I get right in here and I get to it. If I don't, that means we're working on the website and I can't. Because once we get in and start putting things in there, we just can't leave it and come back to it. It'll mess it up. Which Kathy found out. Didn't you, Kathy? That's what happens. All right. Now, this one here, a study of tatted joins. I want you all to read over this. Don't have to do nothing with it right now. We will get into it. But be ready with this. All right. These are documents that Georgia gives out to the students back when she was teaching about important things you need to know. Okay. It'll tell you how to make certain joins in here and stuff like that. Here is a little bit more on the shuttle lock join. We will do that one day. The day's not that day. Here's the diagram for the up join and the down join and how to know the difference. Make sure you're familiar with this before we get into it. This is a lot of paperwork reading right now. But as we get into it, I want you to have it in your brain. Hey, I remember that. So when I start talking about it, it refreshes you. And then we work it through. This is the first step of reading through your paperwork. Okay. This one here is one of Gloria Nelson's. It's linked to her site. It is Ringhead Joe. Everybody, we're going to go over it. It's going to be next week, Maria. We're going to get into the joins and how they're used and things like that. Today, we are getting you set up for success. Okay? And in 6 weeks, everything you tap from this point on in this class, save it. You're going to see a difference at the end of the 6 weeks of classes. Big difference. That I can promise you. All right. This is Ringhead Joe. Now, Gloria wrote this for needle tatters, but it works well for shuttle tatters too. Read through this. It's very interesting. She tells you how to play with your picots, you know, reverse work and do not reverse, and different things you can do with your tatting. Familiarize yourself with this. This is documentation you want to keep on hand. This is recommended tatting needles according to the threads. Each thread is different. Remember that. The DMC coordinate special. Size 20 is smaller than Elizabeth coordinate 20. Okay? So familiarize yourself with this. Keep it handy. Make you a folder in your bookmarks that says tatting information and log all these links on there. So when you need it, it's there. Okay? I mean, you're hungry, absolutely hungry for information at this point. Now, these are the challenge patterns. If you feel you can do them, go ahead, do them. If you feel it is too intimidating, back off. It'll be there. Because when you can conquer this one, you're beyond the halfway point in beginner course. When you tackle this one, you're ready for intermediate advanced. So if you can't do it now, don't worry about it. You will before the end of the 6 weeks. If you're still struggling, you don't have to leave this class. We will keep you in here. But I must see your homework so that I can see where you're struggling. Because if you write it in an email and tell me, I'm struggling doing this, that makes hill beans to me. I can't make heads or tails out of what you're talking about. I need to see it. Okay? So do turn in your homework. If you don't want it listed in the group page, say so. We won't put you up there. All right. These are the goals for the classes and so forth. Make sure you all read through all these documents. You've got a lot of reading to do. There is a tad bit of homework. You've got to do your tatted piece, your sample. Now I want you to try to do, all right, wait a minute. On the second challenge pattern, which is E in the pattern, let me say, all right, it would be the very next ring. Okay, see, here's A, B, C. Your chain, I didn't label. I labeled the rings because the chains are going to come in automatically. So you go A, B, C, D. E would be off the next chain. Okay, or no, wait a minute, I'm wrong. Sorry, smack me already. All right, you'd come up here, E, F, G, then H, I, J, K, and then so on. Okay, this is not what I was given as a challenge. Be thankful. Just be thankful. I won't say no more. Most of you know. You new students, Georgia had a way of testing me. And yeah, she taught me quite a bit. Let's see here. Let me switch cameras. All right. Now, there we go. Again, if you guys have any questions, you run into a problem, write me. Don't sit there and wait for me to write you back. I will write you back, but if I'm eating supper and it's good victuals, I ain't leaving the table. Nope, I'm not leaving the table. Yes, the cardinal. The cardinal. We're going to do that this year. The beginners are going to do it at the end of the 6 weeks. It is going to be our final pattern because that cardinal taught me so much. It taught me how to hide my ends with dark thread in light thread and not be able to see the thread ends at all, not even be able to see what was sewn in. It taught me patience. It taught me how to slow down. Remember, you didn't walk overnight. You didn't run overnight. As a child and a baby, look at tatting the same way. It's step by step by step. Slow and steady wins the race, and in tatting it really does. But I tatted up 150 of those cardinals, folks. And when I handed her the last one, I said, she asked me, she said, now what do you think? I said, well, the pattern's in the trash. What? I said, yeah, I shredded it last night. And I did. Never wanted to see another cardinal again. I'll just be honest. Didn't want to see it again. Yeah, it's a pattern. And it's a pattern of an actual cardinal bird. It looks just like a cardinal. And Georgia, she looked for volunteers. And, you know, I stuck my foot in it. And I gave it, you know, I said, I can do 25. Then it went to 50. I did all 150 of those cardinals for her. So yeah, that one pattern taught me more than any other pattern I ever did. And I remembered everything with that pattern because she would grade me and she would say, I can see that dark thread. And I had to hide it. It was her way of testing me to make sure I understood it. But y'all, it's a long story how Georgia and I came about. Uh, she couldn't figure out how I was going to tat with all the Velcro I had on. I was in a bad car wreck and I had Velcro. Everything was strapped to me on, like, I looked like a walking tube of Velcro. And she says, first of all, I don't know how you're going to tat with all that Velcro, but we're going to try. She told me to do needle tatting first because I was tearing up my thread. It would get caught on the Velcro, and yeah, it was a battle, but it was a well fought battle. I'll say that because she had patience with me, and that's the first thing she said. You got to have patience with him. I said, oh, I got patience. She says, I know you subbed for me enough. I used to be her substitute teacher. I did all the videos, and I was her substitute. I was a beginner substitute too, and needle tatting substitute. I was the backup, basically. Sue Fuller, I couldn't back her up. She's a design teacher. I'm not a design teacher. When I want something for a specific need, I make it. So you didn't forget anything. It's still there, Karen. You didn't lose anything. It will come back to you. Every bit of it will come back before you know it. The hardest part, and I'll tell you guys this: how many crocheters we got? How many knitters we got? Pick up your knit and your crochet after you've learned to tat, and then you're going, okay, what do I do with these things? You forget, and then you holding them, and it starts coming back. Okay, well, tatting is the same way. If you go from tatting to crochet or tatting to knit, guess what? When you go back to tatting, you're sitting there going, okay, what do I do now? And it all of a sudden, it's like the minute you pick your shuttles up or your needles up, you're like, oh, I remember. It's like when it hits your hands, you remember. Okay. But I will advise all of you beginners and professed, please tat a little bit each day. If all you do is a ring and a chain, do it. Because you use different muscles for different things. When you first start tatting, you're going to have pains in some of the weirdest places. Okay, I'm just telling you, it's weird places, but it happens. And it's because you're building that muscle memory. All right, as you're building that muscle memory up, you're working muscles you haven't worked before. When you go into crochet, you're going to have to rebuild that muscle back, and it's a different muscle. So you're going to have pains then. When you come back to tatting, it's going to be back and forth. So do a little bit of each. If you like to crochet as much as you like to tat, do a little of each every day so you don't go through the aches and the pains every time you turn around. Okay? And that's the best advice I can give you to keep you growing in this. Remember how long it took you to crochet or knit. It's not going to take you that long in tatting. It's one stitch. It's what you do with that one stitch to make your masterpieces. When I'm done with you, after you get through the entire series of beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes, I know all of you have heard of the monster dolly. You will be able to make the monster dolly. That you will. That's everybody's dream. to do the monster doily. And if you've got the pattern, lucky you. I do have the pattern. I just haven't done it yet. I've got the thread for it. I got everything I want for it. I just haven't had time. When life slows down, then I'll have time. I done told Tubbs if I ever end up in the hospital, first thing goes is my tatting bag and all my thread. Got that? That way if the nurses jab me, I can jab them back. Never heard of it? The monster doily was made by Jan Stawaz, and he passed in 2005, I believe, 2006. He does beautiful work. I got his books over here because you all will see my bookmarks in the books. I got both of his books here. Now, I bought these. I was a beginner tatter when I got these. And I said, I will tat from each of these books one day. And you see all my marks, bookmarks, my little flags. Those are the patterns I've got picked out that I want to do. Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard of the never-ending doily. Well, you do know that Georgia laid her eyes on the Lord's Supper, tatted in pixel form. And it was, I think she said it was like 7 feet across. Took years. She laid her eyes on it once. It's been missing for a long time. They're thinking maybe it's like the Picasso that was missing the Mona Lisa for years and years and years. And they found it. It was behind another painting. And that could be it. But a bunch of, I think it was nuns that got together and tatted the Lord's Supper. And they did it, they brought it down to the pixel form. Because tatting is so fine and delicate and small. Yeah. And they're still looking for it. If they ever find it, I know where it's going to end up. Probably the Sistine Chapel. So, which would be awesome, I have to say. So with that, do we have any questions for today? Homework? Catch your little ring and chain. Do it as many times as you want. Okay? Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Now, here is the difference. Remember, this is 3 here. Let me move my straw out of the way so y'all can see this. And this is size 10. Do y'all see the difference between the two? Size difference. So, yeah. Okay, you have a question, Carmen? You have to ignore my husband. He's working. He works from home. What wow? What wow? Tell me what wow. Yes, ma'am. You don't have to put the dimple in it. If you don't want to, you just tat it using regular rings. You may have to adjust the stitch count, maybe 1 or 2 stitches, but that shouldn't have to adjust much at all. Remember, every time you make a change to a pattern, you have to adjust it for your need. If you change the thread size, you have to adjust the count. If you change threads, you got to adjust. Now, I have picked up patterns that said Elizabeth 30, Elizabeth 20. And I tat it in 40, and it's like, this, it won't join. So you have to accommodate. So, And that takes you into design work, Miss Carmen. If you're interested in design work, I have a ton of information that I can share with you. And I can direct you to some designers that would be more than happy to coach you through, if that's your goal. Because we do need more designers. We've got a lot of them retiring out. And I can't say I blame them, because we all want time to tap for ourselves. I never get that time. But I've had a lot on my plate lately. Usually I do get time. I make time for my tatting. And hopefully with the classes doing as well as they are now, I might be able to do my own tatting while I'm teaching. Use my tatting for teaching. So y'all could tat with me. It is. It is a beautiful art. I love bobbin lace. I love the filet lace. I love needle lace, hardinger. I love all kinds of lace. My great aunt is the one that got me into lace. It's a little bitty girl. She made all my dresses, and she made me feel like a princess. All my dresses stuck out like a little princess dress, had enough tulle on it that, you couldn't see my legs for the tulle. And it all had all this pretty lace. And she always made bows to match my dresses, and that had lace on them. I was the lace girl. I was always laced up. Easter, oh my goodness, we take Easter photos. I thought I was $1,000,000. I had a pocketbook, had lace on it. She made my pocketbook. She made everything. The only thing that she did not make was my socks and shoes. But she did attach lace to every pair of socks that I owned. Yeah, but I can't. It's under copyright, and I can't get approval because he's not here. Yeah, they were. And I mean, I never really outgrew the lace. Everything I ever had lace involved. Dennis doesn't like that my bed has lace on the pillows, but they do. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was spoiled. That's what it was. I was spoiled. But I mean, I always got to go to the little 5 and dime down the road when we'd get on way back from church. We would get us a soda pop and a hamburger. So yeah, and I just felt like I was a princess. I walk in there, I just strut. Yeah, they are pretty. They are. I used to have a canopy bed, and the canopy had draped lace all over it. It was cozy. It was homey. That's the thing on here that I miss, is I can't decorate the house the way I'd like to decorate it. You're sort of kind of restrained, because every time you move, you have to pack that stuff up. Nothing like moving every 2 weeks, let me tell you. But when we get a tiny home, a lot of the household stuff will be in the tiny home. So that's our next thing. So we can travel and come back to the tiny home. We found out when the rig was in the shop, yeah, we need a secondary home base. Yeah, it was a wrought iron canopy bed. So, all right, guys, I'm done for the day. That'll be fine. The replay will be up right after class. The Chat will open up the next day. They're pretty fast on getting the chat up with it. So look for the chat the next day after class. But as soon as I close out, this goes up on YouTube. I don't have to wait. So, oh, Melinda, I'm so glad you made it. And Christina, I'm glad you made it too. You're welcome, Artie. Thank you for coming, Kathy. Well, I appreciate y'all too. I just love teaching you. I do. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. Y'all give a round of applause to all the mods. Thanks, mods. Y'all did great. Yeah, I know. Computer tech is my problem. Thank you, Karen. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Now, I hope all of your threads make beautiful lace. Y'all have a good day and happy tatting. I'll see you next Tuesday for the intermediate class. If y'all'd like to come into the intermediate class and just sit in on the class, make sure you let Pam know and she'll put you in there. You don't have to participate, but you can come to the class and just see what's going on in there. All right. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.